is a Conelrad alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
Food for 5 years. 1,000 gallons of gas. Air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and Odyssey. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I am Toolman Tim. Today is July 21st, 2023, and this is episode 341 of Workshop Radio. Great to have you folks. In just a moment, I've got my better half here to join me. We're going to have a great episode. This was inspired by a shorter ramblings from the road I did better part of a year ago now, where I talked about my desert island media. So books, movies, music, and more. The things that I would take into a bomb shelter with me if I knew I was stuck watching them for the next 5, 10, 15 years, whatever it would happen to be. But before we do that, you guys know the routine. We'll get through our announcements and then we'll bring on the beautiful Mrs. Cook. So first off, guys, this is Friday night. I see Backwoods Butcher first here tonight. Usually he's sneaking in the back door, but here he is. So, and one step closer, Byron Roberts, great to have you. First off, Friday, remember our brand new sponsor, good friends of mine and Becky's, Aaron and Nate of Two Chicks Homestead. Nate's the bearded chick. Aaron is not. It was an honor to have them sign up as a sponsor, guys. I appreciate them. They're an incredible couple who are raising their 2 daughters, homeschooling, homesteading. Nate's working full time. They just get a lot of shit done. Raising rabbits. Pretty sure they have chickens too. I know rabbits for sure, but either way, they have the Two Chicks Homestead podcast. So give them a listen. If you need extra inspiration in your ear holes, add them to your podcast feed. Number 2, guys, August 1st is the cutoff for the Self-reliance Festival. I've got a dog digging in a plastic bag behind me tonight. This is a good night. So Gilligan has aged. Do you like my hat, Martinson? I love this hat. I wear it everywhere now, don't I, darling? Self-reliance Fest, early bird ticket, $75. And the cool thing is, they just announced earlier today that Jack Spirko is going to be there giving a presentation on artificial intelligence. I'm rather excited to hear that one. That was a big announcement that just came out a little while ago. So you got about 10 days left to get the less expensive tickets. My affiliate link is in the description below, so give that a go. And if you're coming, get them now. Save yourself $20 a head for going. And finally, the last, and this is not bullshitting, the last set of silver for sale is on the Shopify site. That's it. The last one. We had one more picked up last night after the show. Thanks to a fellow Canuck for that one. And that's it, guys. When it's gone, it's gone. That's the end of the Workshop Silver for 2023. At least the Workshop logoed silver. Next, I'm actually already in the works of we're going to do a solo 1 ounce Y2K coin. I haven't exactly come up with a name for the series. Something like apocalypse currency or currency of the apocalypse or modern apocalypse is going to be at least 4 quote unquote apocalypses that we have survived as Gen Xers or whatever you want to call us in our lifetime. I'm looking forward to it. Just going to be single coins, looks like once a year, but we'll get to that as we go. So with that, hang on a second. Let's bring her on here. Are we looking the right way? We are looking the right way. Yes, we are.
You always have to be on that side.
Yes, we're going to zoom you in just a little closer, sweetheart. And wow, so you just flew in from Hawaii? Oh, no, just down the corner. Yeah, from the daycare. I was close, wasn't I?
Not really, but that's okay.
How was your day, baby?
It was a good day, actually. It was pretty relaxing and quiet. Got some stuff done that I had to get done. And
got shit done?
Yeah, well, that's about as much shit as you can get done.
Right on. Jeff Stark says, how big a hard drive are we allowed? 4 terabytes, talking about for movies, music, and books. So I'm kind of excited. It's the movie. Yeah, you're the movie star. Always love having you. But so we got 2 dogs in here this evening with us.
It's because I've been gone all week.
They act like they never see you for months on end. You act like you just came home from walking the Appalachian Trail, didn't it?
Because they're my babies.
Yeah, they are. and all they want to do is sleep with you, right? So, so this is great, guys. So tonight, you know, it used to be when we were kids in elementary school, what if you could only have 5 items on a desert island, what would those items be?
Oh, I always failed that one.
Yeah, well, whatever. How do you feel? It's an opinion question, right? So you get to choose whatever you want.
Because like it's just like tonight with the questions, like it's always like you can have this, but I always had to like, oh no, but I need to take my Walkman and my whole binder. See, you know, like I always fail that one.
I was a smartass because my answer was a damn boat to get me off the island, but nobody ever liked that answer. So,
well, because I think that's supposed to be in the rules that you're not supposed to ask for that.
Oh, sure. It's like when you get a genie with 3 wishes, and the only wish you can have, the only wish you're not allowed to make is to have more wishes.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but since we're preppers and the whole shtick of our channel is post-apocalyptic everything, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to do things. Oh, I guess I was inspired by Blast from the Past because you know how much I know that's one of your favorite films of all time.
I don't hate it, but it's not something that I would go out of my way to watch. So,
I mean, the all-star cast. We've got Christopher Walken, Sally Fields, Brendan Fraser, and Alicia Silverstone, and it's a great film. But
it's all right.
They remember how they're watching. What is it? Is it I Love Lucy? I can't remember. Anyway, there's one show that they just have to watch over and over and over again. And of course, Brendan Fraser is equally excited and enthused every single time he watches it because he has the mentality of a 12-year-old, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. He's got the mentality of you with the National Lampoon's movie that we have to watch every year.
And it's on my list. So
you got problems. You'd be watching that one on your own.
Wouldn't be any different than The Day After Tomorrow, would it?
I don't think I have that one on my list.
You may not, but
no, I don't think I do. I wrote it on paper today in between on the phone with Corporations Canada and AGLC and trying to get things organized with licensing. So I had like 4 things on the go, and then I had a little paper going with all the things that
you did. All right.
So, yeah.
I just figured you didn't put Day After Tomorrow because you knew I'd bust your balls about it.
No, I can't remember if I put it on here. I have it on a folded up piece of paper so you couldn't see.
I appreciate that. So they're the only rules are there really aren't any rules, guys, other than the fact that we kind of limited ourselves to 10, right?
Yes, 10 of each, right?
10 of each. I didn't get 10 books, I'll be honest, but
it's because you suck.
So you guys can throw out your list as you go. I'm gonna share some lists as we go along. I'm gonna star some, but Backwoods Butcher and I agree with the first 2 anyway. The Departed and Saving Private Ryan and Get the Gringo. Remember that one with Mel Gibson? It was good, but it wasn't good enough for me to remember, you know? Oh, man, yeah. So One Step Closer says Blazing Saddles, which I still haven't seen. Lord of the Rings, I'm going to guess it's the extended edition of all 3, but not including The Hobbit. We'll pretend like the Hobbit trilogy doesn't exist. So what else we got here? And here we go. Byron Roberts says the complete set of Justified. Oh, he's cheating. That's fine. I'll give him that.
That's what I mean by cheating, right? Like it's because like it's not just one. It's like series.
I know,
right?
Mitch wants to know: do we still have Wi-Fi for Audible downloads? I'm going to say no.
No,
because it's both a bomb shelter and a fallout shelter. And so in my due diligence, I lined the entire thing with lead just to give us extra protection. The problem is
to make it extra miserable.
Right. Yes. So, hey, Rob, we got Rob in here says, don't make me choose. But at least one of the choices on my music, you'll really appreciate, I think, Rob. So Byron says complete series of Justified, Soprano, Seinfeld, MASH, and Dukes of Hazzard. Maybe except we'll skip the little section where Bo and Luke went off to war or college or something.
And the problem is that like with our lists, like, is this going to be a shared television or can we each have our own areas?
Oh, and you know what? It might start out as a shared area, but after year 3 of being down there,
no, it'd be fine. But I don't want to bust your balls too much, but I don't want to go back into that whole spiel of like, oh, hon, this is a really good movie. Everybody says it's a really good movie because you don't have any taste in movies, and I love you so much, but
you're so bad.
I
never said this to me before. She becomes this superstar on a podcast, and all of a sudden she starts busting my balls.
Actually, I bust your balls all the time with that. he'll come into my office and he'll be like, "Hey, hon, you want to watch a movie?" And I'll be like, "Oh, is it a really good movie? Did everyone say it was really good?" Because I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Oh. One Step Closer says Johnny Cash, The American Recordings. Byron Roberts says that's not bad. Complete set of Calvin and Hobbes comic strip. I don't. Hey, Robin, thanks again for the book. We really appreciate it. That was cool. Really cool. Yeah, Byron, that might or might not be on my list. The Foxfire books.
I don't know that one.
That's okay. I'll fill you in on those.
There is like a fly.
I know.
And he's driving
every time we sit down to go live. Hey, oh, look at that. We got Spags. He said a Sawyer water mini fill. So Spags took the gear. He's going to bring in the gear with us. So all we're bringing is movies, and Spags is like, hey, you might want some gear to survive. So
no, all you need is music.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they say, right? Yep. You just need art and love, right? Sawyer water mini filter, a Mora knife, a new Bic lighter. Nothing wrong with that. 20 yards of 550 cord, and a 10x8 tarp. Sounds like he's going on alone. I love that. That's awesome.
Now, is this for survival or is this for body hiding?
It maybe both. I'm thinking, yeah.
Cord, knife, tarp.
All right, so we're gonna save. We'll save some more comments as we go along. Let's start. Do you want to do music first?
I did albums first.
Okay, so did I. So
So are we just gonna read our whole list?
Give me 3 to start with. Yeah.
Okay, so mine is a whole generic of, well, kind of
a whole conglomeration
genre,
of different stuff.
Different stuff. Like
it's a whole mashup.
Yeah. So of course, I got to start with my number ones. 12 Karat Toothache. That's my postie.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And his new one, Austin.
That's
which is postie. And that's Post Malone. If anybody doesn't recognize the nickname. So, and then I have Harry's House, which would be Harry Styles' album. I know I sound like a Gen Zer, but I don't know. I love Post Malone. His songs are so well written, and his music is relatable, and it's easy to listen to, and it's a good mashup of like rock and easy listening and rap and everything. So it's not like that hardcore rap.
And he's good.
And he's good. He has an incredible voice.
And plus he works at my favorite oil change place too. So.
The oil change guy in Sherwood Park looks like him. Yeah.
Just like him.
But and then of course Harry Styles. I love Harry Styles.
Right.
I love his music. Not his One Direction stuff, his new stuff. I don't know, it's just the same thing. He's just easy to listen to. His songs they're I don't know, I know them, they relax me. I just enjoy his music. So that's those I could listen to constantly on repeat. Those ones.
Yeah. I can't even take or leave Harry Styles. I'll just leave him. But I do like Post Malone. You've got me into him. So I even have one of his records. But
yes,
my first 3 are all early to mid 90s throwback, kind of in that. Well, anyway, AC/DC Live, I guess, would be both. But just that rendition of Thunderstruck on that album is to die for. And it's got all the hits, I could listen. Well, that's the record that gets played the most for sure. Nirvana Unplugged, probably the album I've listened to the most in my lifetime. That was the one that we wore out a cassette in 1994, the summer of 94, playing basketball in Josh Fortune's driveway. Love that album, and I still haven't got tired of it. I still play it on my vinyl all the time. And then Green Day Dookie, that has When I Come Around on it. I mean, it has Basket Case, Long View, and the dog's still acting up over there. But yeah, that's the definitive Green Day album for me, and there's not a bad track on that album. I love it.
And you know what that sounds like? It sounds like the lineup for Lithium.
Yes, it's true, and that's why.
And that's what I say all the time. We're in the truck. He's listening to Lithium on Sirius, and it's like it shouldn't even be called Lithium. It should be called Nirvana and Green Day Station, because that's all they play. And it's annoying, and it's always
they don't play AC/DC though.
But it's always the same.
I know
songs.
you don't. I know you don't.
It's always the same.
That's why we've kind of settled on 90s at 9, haven't we?
Yes.
Because
until they get that R&B crap going.
I literally get sick to my stomach with the hits. Which one's the one you play that I literally
I like
feel
Pulse.
it. The Pulse. Either one, they both make me completely nauseous.
Well, your channels make me nauseous, so that's a problem, right?
I don't make you listen to Turbo or any of those, but
yeah.
Robin Holstein says all the Star Wars, all the Harry Potters, but at least a Star Wars New Hope Han shot first version. So that's the original before George, what's his name? George Lucas went back and re-edited it. But yes, you would take the Star Wars films.
I like Star Wars.
Yeah.
If anyone says Avatar, you might as well just leave now. Don't put that on anything. Sorry.
One Step Closer has their records and CDs. Good on music. One Step Closer says Princess Bride. That's not a bad one.
I like that one.
Yeah. So, okay. Out of the three that I listed, Mrs. Cook, which one would you listen to? If we were sitting down on the couch and we were both, kind of pissy at each other and you had to pick one of those albums, which one would you listen to? And there's no technical difficulties here, guys. I think the steam's coming out of her ears. So,
probably Nirvana.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And out of my three, which one would you listen to?
One of the Post Malones. Which one?
Probably 12 Karat.
Is that the one that has
all his
Sunflower?
Yeah. Austin has the new one, Chemical.
Yeah, it's
on
okay.
it. Everything.
Yeah. I like. Yeah. It would be that one then. So
yeah.
You and your friggin' Gen Zs. I don't know.
Well, wait till you see the rest of my list.
So Tracy Lynn's not only into heavy metal music, she also likes murder documentaries. So if anything happens to Rob, we know what happened to him, right? If he disappears right after, it's like, they were on their honeymoon, guys, and well, But yeah.
And there's more comments there.
All right, we'll work our way down there. What do we got? Backwoods was also going to ask about Audible. So Tracy Lynn says, Becky, I feel that so hard. I'm thinking it's probably about lithium.
That or me making fun of you about the movies being good.
Rob says, Tracy and I just decided that Rob picks the music and Tracy picks the movies.
There you go.
That
now see, oh
no, poor Mitch. I feel for you, brother.
No, I won't watch Hallmark movies. They
Not at all. Nope.
They should that studio should be found and just burnt to the ground. I don't even know how they keep making them. It's ridiculous.
So for those on audio, poor Mitch, the comment says, my wife loves the Hallmark movies, so we would have different TVs. or in some families, my wife likes the Hallmark movies. I don't, so we watch the Hallmark movies. Oh man, yeah, ain't that the truth? Hi Nina. Nina over on Facebook says my family really likes Post Malone. He's
How
just
can
good.
You not,
yeah.
Right? And he's a nice person, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and that makes it easier to like him, right? Like, and I heard he puts on a really good concert, and I want to go. I'd love to see him in concert.
I mean, the dude looks like,
Oh, he looks like a dirtbag.
He looks like every uncle of every friend I ever had that lived in Bear River.
No, he looks like something that just crawled out of a ditch and hasn't showered in 6 weeks. And do
you guys remember back in the day, like when you'd have sleepovers, and it was a prank to write on somebody's face? Yeah. And this goddamn motherfucker goes out and gets ink on his face.
But there's a story. He did that because it pisses his mom off.
Sure,
that's the reason why he does it. But no, he's a total dirtbag and he's a ditch pig. But you know what? He's as talented as I'll get it, and I'll give him that. You can look past the looks, and he is talented.
Backwoods Butcher says Jelly Roll's new album. I don't know who Jelly Roll is. Do you?
I recognize it, but I'd have to hear the music.
That's okay. Yeah. Brantley Gilbert's greatest hits and 90s country's greatest hits. So
country.
Here's the deal. I had a list that I did earlier. I actually took my 90s country off there, not because I don't love it. I mean, Black Hawk, greatest hits, I would listen to all day long. Alan Jackson, greatest hits, sure. Yeah, either one. So yes, I love me some 90s country as well. Byron wants AC/DC as well. One Step Closer says, Welcome to Paradise was their jam. Oh, man, I love that. I won't sing it, though. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Tracy likes Bad Religion. I wasn't much for, I didn't really.
Is that AC/DC?
No. That's another band. I know the band, but I haven't really listened to them.
I thought that was the name of the song.
One Step Closer says Metallica Black Album.
I don't like Metallica.
Rob says Injustice for All. Does Injustice for All have one on it? I think it does, but the Black Album is still my favorite. So go ahead, Mrs. Cook. 3 more.
Okay. 1989. Taylor Swift.
Oh, yes.
I'm a Swiftie.
No, you know what? That's a good album. I won't deny it.
And Midnights by Taylor Swift.
Is that her newest one?
That's her new one.
Okay.
And Charlotte and I are Swifties. We love Taylor
Damn,
Swift.
this entire list is fucking.
It's music I enjoy. I love Taylor Swift. I am a Swift fan. I would love to go to a concert, but I refuse to pay $10,000 for a ticket.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read just the rest?
Sure, whatever.
I have, of course, my two favorites, Get a Grip and Big Ones. Those are Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I have to throw a little bit of Aerosmith in there.
To be fair, oh, here we go, guys.
Here we
Sorry,
go, guys. Sorry.
We're gonna let them out. So
Yeah.
To be fair, though, you could almost eliminate Big Ones and just go with Get a Grip.
I like Big Ones, though.
Big Ones was basically Get a Grip with a couple extra tunes.
I know, but those were my two go-to music when I was in high school. 16 Stone by Bush.
Are you serious?
I love Bush. Oh, I love. Yes,
look at this,
I love
baby.
Bush.
That's the one we got. Yeah, well, there you go. That's the one. Yeah. I mean, Come Down is, oh man, it's top 3 favorite songs all time.
Now this is probably going to be completely off the wall with my list, but the Eminem Show. I love Eminem.
Yeah. I didn't put any Eminem on my list.
Then I have Throwing Copper by Live.
Oh, yes.
That's my top 10.
I have very fond memories of that album.
Yeah, I love Throwing Copper. That's the one I always had. And of course, at the Eminem Show, I probably could have picked like 6 of his albums, but I think this one had the most songs that I liked on there.
That was the first one? Is that
yes, because then and then I think the second one is Take a Bow or something like that. Yeah. So but I do love Gavin Rossdale. Like, I love Bush, and I like, and of course gotta have my Aerosmith in there. So but I think it's a good
that's a good
it's a good list. It's a good mix.
You know, back in our day, our definition or our version of a Bluetooth speaker took 17 D batteries, and you get 14 minutes of playtime on it. But I mean, obviously I've told you, but I used to play. It might not look like it now, but I used to play quite a mean badminton game. Won many provincial titles on it. So we traveled all over the province, and when that album was big, somebody brought one of them boom boxes, put it in the back of at the very back by the exit door and we played it it was an 8-hour bus ride, and they played that album the whole time.
What 16
Throwing
Stone?
Copper.
Throwing Copper. I love Throwing Copper. Yeah.
Lightning Crashes is, I mean, that song still
I
gets
Alone
me
is one of my
favorites. I Alone's great too.
Yeah.
They have so many good tracks for sure. Robin says Stevie Ray Vaughan, Couldn't Stand the Weather, Bob Seger, Greatest Hits, Allman Brothers, 7 Turns. Let's see what else we got here. Jeff Stark, second, Stevie Ray. Mitch says Black Sabbath and Ozzy albums and the TV series House. There you go, baby doll.
I actually been watching House. I've made it to season 3, I think, so far.
Yep.
I kind of had to give it a break because it was getting really repetitive. So I just...
I enjoy him. He's Tracy. See, that's why you and Tracy get along so well. Yes to Aerosmith. Yes, and Taylor Swift is in Seattle tonight, and so are the Blue Jays. So
yeah. Well, no, like Aerosmith. Just a little backstory. Aerosmith has been, I think, probably not so much now, but when we first got together, I think Steven Tyler's probably the only man I would leave Tim for. So it's like, because I have had a crush on Steven Tyler since I was like 14, and it's
weird though, because he went like he looked like an 80s male icon, and now he looks like everybody's grandmother.
But the thing is, so there's like, and I'll be 100% honest, there is not one thing attractive about him,
just the way he
carries himself. Way he looks, but he's so talented, and he has an incredible voice. He has one of those voices that just hits you. Yes. Right. And of course, when I was growing up, it's just like when I first heard one of his songs when I was 13, I was like, this is incredible. I got to find out who this was. And I was just in love with him and he is talented. He is talented. And I actually, this was when I was like 13, 14, I'm 44 now. And I just seen him in concert last September. And then they announced that they're not touring anymore. And I would have been so devastated if I hadn't seen him at least once.
When we were beyond broke.
Yes.
When we first got married and we didn't have a pot to piss in. We had to go outside to piss.
No, it didn't. Shut up, you idiot.
Well, it felt like that, okay?
Yeah.
We kept the empty
Maybe you did.
Yeah, well, I still do, but
Yeah.
yeah, we kept the empty laundry soap containers on the shelf just so it felt like we weren't completely broke, right? But I told Becky one day, I said, 2 things, darling. I will get you to an Aerosmith concert and I will get you to England.
Yep.
Damn it, you did both in the last 12 months. So.
Yeah, like I would have been absolutely devastated though if, and of course the whole story about before I went to go see him in September, that bastard went into rehab again.
Oh, imagine him trying to better his life, freaking ruin my concert going experience.
Well, he went to rehab, and then they canceled it all, and I was, oh my goodness, I probably would have cried.
It was only like his 3rd show back when you went, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was so happy to see him, and now I don't think he's touring. When they're almost done.
They're doing a final.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they're done. And you know what?
Good on him.
Good on him, because like he's old, right? I mean, and he needs to rest. He needs to do his thing, right?
He's old enough to be a great grandfather at this point.
Yeah. Well, like, what is he, 74?
I think so.
Yeah. He's deserved it. Like, he deserves it.
Jeff says Allison Krauss.
I know Allison Krauss.
Allison Krauss in Union Station. They had that.
When you can't say nothing at all.
Thank you. I love that.
I think that's the only song I like. Yeah.
And all right. So the rest of my list is the Leonard Skinner self-titled album. It really has all their hits on it. I mean, I get that album is so good. So good. Bush, 16 Stone. Like I said, so top 3 songs all time. And I probably know this because for some reason that's what your kids always ask you, Dad, what's your favorite songs, right? But it's When I Come Around by Green Day, Come Down by Bush, in 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins. All 3 of those. I could put those 3 on repeat, and
I'm going to Graceland.
That
was my dad's song. I actually have it on my Apple Music.
You play that one for me, and I'm like, what is this song? But yes,
I'm going to Graceland.
But I love Skinner. Oh my goodness, Freebird. So whenever we're on a long road trip, I try to time it so that Freebird's our last song. And
I don't mind it, but I find it wears on me after a while, because like it's really long and obnoxious near the end.
Oh, but it's fun. I don't
know. It kind of wears. Like, I love Freebird. I do. It just kind of wears on me.
I have to drive around the block so that the song can finish. It's just like that. And Backwoods Butcher says original name we were gonna name our farm was Simple Man Farm. I love it. Tuesday's Gone is probably it's still a hit, but it's a lesser known hit by Skinner. Yeah. I love Tuesday's Gone for sure. And of course, I grew up here in Sweet Home Alabama. That was the only song I knew of.
Overplayed so much.
That one, that was in, or no, did it play in Air Force One? Remember, they talked about it. So there's some line Steve Buscemi says, "Oh, the irony of people singing the song of a band who died in a plane crash or something." But
it's so overplayed.
Very, yeah. So Bush, 16 Stone, Come Down. Like I said, that whole album, that was perfection. When it came out, Razorblade Suitcase came out, and we thought you can't top this. And then 16 Stone came out, and I was like, it was pure. Yeah, it was great. And little side note, in Canada, for the first 2 albums, they had to go by the name Bush X. They put a little X in the corner because some other band owned the name of Bush. So some of those early cassettes have Bush with a little X next to it. It was pretty cool.
Well, Gracie was helping me make the list there. And I told her, I'm like, oh, I got to put Bush on there. And she goes, oh, that's what she's You're an idiot.
Shut up.
All right.
She's definitely our kid.
Yeah. And I'm like, you don't have any taste if you don't know what song that is.
So next album would be Dazed and Confused, the soundtrack. The reason I picked it was because there's just so many banging 70s tunes on that one album. It's, what is it? Music to Get Stoned By, or Music to Get Stoned To? Oh.
No, see, I didn't like that movie, so I never really...
I love that movie. And it's weird because, it was from the 70s, but you watch it and it still makes me nostalgic, because even into the 90s, life was still pretty much like that, never phones or anything. It was just a bunch of people driving around doing absolutely nothing. But the soundtrack, and of course, good old Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
You know what I like? No, I'm not even going to do it. So.
Don't do it.
Because then somebody will end up, all right. Yes, but the other one will get me. Somebody will clip that.
Yeah,
no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not. I can't. I want to, but I'm not going to. No. So, All right. Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. That's Smashing Pumpkins. It's got a ton of good songs, but it's got 1979.
I do like 1979.
Oh, every time that comes on, I just, yeah. Oh, yeah. Slipknot, All Hope Is Gone. Okay. So I missed Slipknot when they first came out. It might have something to do with the fact that I was going to a Christian university at the time, and bands that wore, killer masks were kind of frowned on. So I missed them, but I've fallen in love with Corey Taylor and Slipknot over the last few years. But All Hope Is Gone. It's a good album from start to finish. And then Metallica Black Album. That was another album we wore out in high school. And it actually came out before, I think it came out in like 91, so I would have been like 10. But we played that consistently throughout high school. And
see, I hate
Metallica. You don't like
I
even
don't like
Enter Sandman or
no
Sad But True.
I don't like any of their songs. Like I always found it was that type of music that gave me a headache when I listened to it, and I just could not.
Yeah, I was a good album too, Rob. And I said had to sneak Slipknot Iowa in my house. Corey Taylor's so damn talented, it's unbelievable. But
now Slipknot I don't know too much about, but I know Metallica.
You know Stone Sour.
I don't think so.
You've heard, I can't remember the names of their songs, but that's his side piece that Corey Taylor does. They'd be like, they kind of have like a Matchbox 20, that kind of vibe a little bit.
I would know it if I heard
it.
I just
Sour. No. Anyway, if somebody can remember their album, that would, hey, Gunfighter Concealment, thank you, liked and shared. I appreciate it. But they're a good band for sure. So Backwood says my oldest loved the Black Album when she was a baby. Now she calls it that noise. That's
what it is. I consider that kind of stuff noise.
We had a little redheaded boy. What was his name?
Hunter.
Hunter. So, when the daycare first opened, we only had a few kids. And so I would hang around there all the time. It was great. I would because we were still doing a lot of renos and stuff. And they all called me Uncle Tim because my two nephews went there. So there's like 5 kids and 2 of them were my nephews. But Hunter, at the end of the day, when things were, through the glass, Stone Sour Through the Glass.
I probably know.
Yeah, I'll play it for you after. But so anyway, I would always ask the kids, like, what song do you want to listen to? If there's only 2 or 3 of them at the end. Hunter was always the last one. And what did he call it? He didn't call it Thunderstruck. He had a different name for it.
I don't remember.
But it was a really cute name.
It was Thunderstruck, yeah.
So him and I would always crank up Thunderstruck and jump around and dance.
And the little bugger knew all the words.
He sure did. He could rock it out. He could play air guitar with the best of them. So, yeah, he was a good kid. But Tracy Lynn said, I snuck in Rob Zombie, the first CD I ever bought. Is that Dragula album, I'm guessing? Do you remember?
Yeah, see, I don't like Rob Zombie either. That's what I would call that noise.
Noise.
Quit that noise.
What else we get there? Yeah. Okay. So, so that's the albums, guys. So that's the soundtrack to Underground. That's what we would listen to.
Yeah, we would have to have AirPods, I think. Because I don't think I could listen to that noise all
day. Could you imagine the first time I left my AirPods down, forgot about it, and Franny chewed them up?
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, honey, I don't know where your AirPods are, but I'm going to use mine, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think she has chewed a pair of yours. She did, right?
Yeah, yeah. Robin said the first CD she ever bought was a soundtrack to La Bamba.
I had my grandmother had La Bamba on tape.
What? Oh,
yeah. But you know what? I love that movie, like in Richie Valens.
Never seen it. It's good, is it?
Yeah. It, I think it was. I can't remember who plays him.
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
And Rob said his first CD was ZZ Top. One Step Closer was Bad by Michael Jackson. Do you remember your first album you ever bought?
First one I ever bought? Not particularly. I think the first one that I bought with my like I actually went to a store and bought, I think it was Madonna.
Okay. Which one?
The one with like a prayer.
Oh yes. Okay.
I can't remember the name of it. Right. It was Madonna, and then after Madonna, then it was Lou Diamond Phillips. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But then after Madonna, it was New Kids on the Block.
Oh yes.
Had to have them, and then it went to it was New Kids on the Block, and then it was and then I had a bunch of Michael Jackson ones. I know I had a bunch of those, and then I found Aerosmith, and then it kind of went.
And that was on cassette, right? The first ones you bought, or was it CD?
CDs.
Really?
Yeah.
You're 2 years older than me, and your first albums were CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have my first CD player till it was like 99 or 2000.
But the problem is,
you lived in a city.
We lived in a city, and I had access to Columbia House.
Oh, I did too. I ordered 13 cassettes for a penny.
I ordered 13 CDs for a penny.
And
that's why I was trying to remember which one was the first one.
My cat Catherine also ordered 13 pennies, 13
well,
CDs.
I ordered them. Brian ordered them. Amy ordered them. My dad, my mom, and then we started going through the cats and the dogs, and we had all kinds of them.
So my first album that I bought with my money that I went into the store to buy was a country album, and I'm not sure if it was Lone Star, No News, or Joe Diffie, Third Rock from the Sun. Those were both early albums that I bought.
Now, I don't know if anybody would know, but in the early 90s, there was a movie that featured "When the Lion Sleeps Tonight" song.
Oh.
And I don't know which one it was, but I remember going over to Port Huron, and they had a CD store, and they had what they called singles.
Okay.
And you could just buy the CD with like 1 or 2 songs on it. And I bought that "When the Lion Sleeps Tonight" song. I don't know why.
And
but
it was a CD single?
It was a CD single. It only had two or three songs on it.
Yep.
And
Backwood says, was that the album with "I'm Already There" on it? Do you know? Or
I can't remember. All I know is that I bought "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," and I bought Chicka Cherry Cola. That one.
Oh yeah. I can see it too. Yes,
I know. I can't remember.
They had that, and it doesn't matter. I know what you mean.
No, you got to think of the name. What's the name?
It'll come to me. So
but that was a single, and it had their 3 popular songs on it, and I had those. It was Savage Garden.
There you go. Thank you.
Savage Garden. Yeah, and that was a big. It was that one and "The Lion Sleeps Tonight." I had those singles.
Robin, she had a first 8-track. I never had 8 tracks, but growing
Your dad
up,
did though.
Yeah, he did. So we had a floor model stereo that had a record player and an 8-track player. But by the time I was born, 8 tracks had gone out of style. So Dad went to Radio Shack and bought an adapter that you slid that looked like an 8-track, and it let you play cassettes, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, so I remember when I went and bought Joe Diffie, Third Rock from the Sun, was on a badminton trip, and Skilo, I Wish, remember that song?
Yep.
Was on, I went in because we didn't have music stores in my town. This was Troy or Antigonish or something. They had thousands of that on singles. So it was a single cassette. Anybody that doesn't remember singles, it was 1 song on either side, and it had a cardboard sleeve, and that was it. I never bought it, but yeah. What one are you looking at here?
One step closer there.
One Step says, we used to play the Beatles, Ray Charles, and Johnny Cash for my daughter when she was really young. I wanted to keep her from bringing stuff like Justin Bieber into my house.
Okay. Now, honestly, I listen to Johnny Cash. I love Johnny Cash. The only one I'm not too fond of is Ring of Fire, and I think that's because it's really overplayed. But I love Justin Bieber too.
Yeah.
No, I don't love all his stuff, but I do like the stuff that he does with Kid Laroi. And he does have some really good songs that are really good, but he has songs that are like, okay, they're too teeny boppy for me. And I don't, like his older stuff. Yeah. But his new stuff with like Kid Laroi and everything, they're not bad, and they're easy to listen to. Now Johnny Cash, same thing. Like there are songs that he does that are like really, really good, and then there's songs that you're like, I could take it or leave it.
My first introduction to Johnny Cash was Hurt, the 9 Inch Nails cover. Yeah. That song still gives me chills. I love it. I could listen to it all day. It's so good. And I'm like, because I didn't know who this dude was. I was like 13 when it came out, 14. I'm like, who's this old fella playing? And then, of course, I know that sounds bad, but you just don't know, especially before the internet. It's not like I could Google and be like, who's Johnny Cash, right? So
no, and I don't mind his, but like, I wish they wouldn't overplay stuff. And that's what makes it hard. Because when you're sitting there, like Sirius is actually a really bad offender for that, like overplaying, and you get tired of it after a while.
One Step Closer says Canada needs to apologize for early Bieber.
Oh yeah, I don't
There's
like
a lot
early
of things
Bieber.
we need to apologize for.
No, early Bieber is he was kind of like a single version of like New Kids on the Block.
I was gonna say NSYNC. That's what,
NSYNC and everything. Yeah, like, and honestly,
and he was like a male version of like Britney Spears.
Yeah, and like the kid was really talented.
Yeah.
He was, and he still is talented, but it's just I think he had to find his niche.
Oh yeah,
that's all. And then once he found it, he's actually even more talented, if that makes sense. But I know he has sold a lot of his music.
Yeah,
because I know he's having some health problems, and I feel bad for the kid. Like, he's not very old, and he is having a lot of health problems. So
it's kind of interesting if you guys haven't followed, but there is a metric shit ton of artists who have been selling the rights to their music so that they have money to invest and use now, as opposed to getting the royalties down the road. And it's interesting. I seen a list of over 50 artists that have done it.
Well, and he's doing it because I don't think he's touring right now, because he has that issue where half his face is it goes paralyzed.
Right.
And I think I think he's got health issues, right? And I feel bad for the kid, because like, what is he, like 25? 26?
Oh, I think he's got to be 30 now, doesn't he?
I don't know. I always consider him a kid, because he's just a baby, right?
I mean, anybody who's younger.
And I feel bad for him, because like, you know, he was thrown into this when he was like, what, 13?
Yes.
So, you know, like, he's
29 for those who are wondering.
Yeah, so he had
Bell's palsy. Yeah, it's like that.
It's like that, but it's another sin.
Yeah.
But he's had to cancel a bunch of his shows and everything, and I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, because I mean, I think he's cleaned his life up too.
Yeah, well, he's married.
He was a partier, and he married the lesser known Baldwin. Which one? The least known Baldwin brothers' daughter.
Stephen, I think.
Stephen, yeah.
Yeah, Stephen's daughter.
The one who didn't shoot somebody. Sorry, I don't know. Maybe he did, but
that was Alec.
Yeah, I know.
He's the most popular of the Baldwins.
I would say the most well known. I don't know if I call him the most popular.
Well, he's the one that's the only one acting.
Yeah, he's certainly not the most popular with some people in the world.
No, but he's the only one that's bringing in a paycheck. Between paychecks and spitting out kids, I don't know which one he's doing more.
Geez, yeah. I have 17 kids after the age of 60, so
he's insane.
One Step Closer says,
to each their own. But
Shania Twain can apologize to me anytime. Oh dear.
I don't like Shania Twain at all. And honestly, Shania Twain was like dormant for a long time, and she should have just stayed where she was.
All of a sudden, 20 years later, she shows up, and you're like, what is going on?
She's not talented at all. Honestly, I think she's just riding her name.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know. I didn't even like her music years ago. I don't know. I just don't think she's talented. And I don't know what people see in her. I really don't.
Movies or books next?
I have books next.
All right. So you go ahead. Give 3 or 4 to start with, because I've only got maybe 5 books on my list.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, you do yours first then. All
right. Well, so The Stand, of course.
Yep. And I'll give you that. I'll do like The Stand. Yeah.
Because it's kind of funny that I don't know. I was thinking, all right, so I'm going to read a book about the end of the world while sitting in a bunker, probably surviving the end of the world. I thought there's some irony there, but it's a 1,000-page magnum opus, if you want to say, of his. It's the story is incredible.
Stephen King. And Stephen King, I find a very hard read.
Yes. He I don't know, it's not bad. But so the second one is one I read recently, actually, and that was Atlas Shrugged. And that is, I don't know how many pages, but it's over a 60-hour audio listen. And it is a book that you could go back and read and read and read. Because
I found it very dry.
Well, you did, yeah. But of course, you came into it. Of course, she came. For those who are listening, you heard about 3 hours of it, of the speech. There's like a 10-hour speech in the book. But sure, it is. It's part fiction and part philosophy. And so it's great, but definitely it takes it's there's for sure. Tracy says The Stand is my favorite book of all time. See, there's a reason we got along good too. So over 1,000 pages. Okay. Atlas Shrugged's over 1,000 pages as well. So my first 2 books are 1,000 pages each.
Well, at least you have something to keep you busy.
Well, if the zombies ever break in, we could use them to bash the brains in, right? So,
or start a fire like what Tracy said.
Backwoods Butcher says, well, I guess you'll have to get a fire going at some point. Poor guy. It's all right, dude. He's insecure about his grade 1 reading.
Oh, okay.
It's no big deal, So I picked a book that I've wanted to read for a while, but it's 1,001 movies you should see before you die. And I thought, again,
It's kind of morbid, right?
It is, but it's also ironic because I would be in a bunker underground reading about movies that my ass is never going to get to see. But it would be interesting. I wanted to pick one.
It'd be kind of like salt in the wound, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'd love to see that,
Yeah.
It's like poor Brendan Fraser underground with his dad, and his dad's trying to explain to him baseball. They run because they must. I finally get it, but so yeah, I thought it'd be good. Any one of the Foxfire collected editions. So you said you didn't know what the Foxfire books were, and that back long before we got married or even met, when I first got into homebrewing, I came across this book called The Foxfire Book of Beer and Winemaking.
Oh, so it's like a how-to book.
Well, it's not actually.
Okay.
From what I understand, it was a magazine series that came out of interviews, I believe. So this was backwoods, born and bred country people in the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay.
And this was a collection of their stories, their how-tos, everything they did to get by for years. And so eventually they took a bunch of the magazines, turned them into collected editions, and there's like 10 really thick books. Okay. So I've always wanted to get the series, and I thought, if not, might as well have one to read down there, right?
She just don't give up.
No, she doesn't. I'll let her in, the little bitch.
Hey, it's Maisie at the door. She doesn't
in,
give
man.
up. She just keeps going and going. Like most dogs quit after a while, but
because she knows that she's trained us, right? So
yeah, she doesn't stop.
The Going Home book series, I figured I put that again. I'm like, all right, going to be. It's just one that I enjoy. I love reading. I've listened to it 3 or 4 times now, and it's 11 books at this point, so we'll just call it one big book. And this one's funny, but back to basics. That's that big. Okay, so back when Becky was the manager at a payday loan store many moons ago, I couldn't afford to buy the Back to Basics book, so I borrowed it from an aunt. And over a few days, we photocopied the entire thing, pages upon pages.
Because the company paid for the paper.
Yes. And then I lost it when we moved. But I now have a copy of it. But, I mean, it
was a lot of pages.
It was so many pages.
Yeah.
And so, that was...
My paper allowance went up that much.
It did, yes. But I figured, you know what? If we're going to be down there, eventually we're going to be coming out. And it would sure be nice to at least learn, mental skills to practice once we get out in the real world again, right? So, all right, we're going to go through here and see what do we got. Okay, we got One Step says Hitchhiker's Guide.
I've never read that.
Robin says Hotel Transylvania. Isn't that the movie with Adam Sandler? Isn't that what it's called?
The cartoon you're
thinking. Yeah, but it's cool. I don't know. A vampire historic. No, I know it's not. But is that really what it was? Or
I have
crazy?
I've never heard. No, it is Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, okay.
But that's not the same.
No, Everybody can hear me? So, apparently, I don't know what happened. We still got 16 people on here live. We're getting the desktop back on. I don't know if somebody hit a tree or what, but it's warm here. And so, if you can get in there for just a minute, we will get the desktop back up and running. I'm going to attempt to walk downstairs. Hang with me for a second. Live and in person here. This is kind of fun. That's my excuse for not having a universal or uninterruptible power supply on my desktop. Looks like we got to order one of those next. With me down the basement. Did it restart yet, darling?
It's working on it.
Okay. Well, here we are. So in the meantime,
is everybody still on there?
Yeah, we got. There was 16 people when I come back on. So
all
right. So who knows how this recording's going to end up? But Trudeau got your number. We're preppers. Yeah, we're in trouble. So what were we working on?
We were talking about books on there.
Books,
you were
yes.
reading all the comments. Yeah.
Right. So I can't even. I might be able to read the comments here. Let's see what we got coming up here. And it's going to be a little harder for a minute. See, this is what happened. Backwoods Butcher said, have to find a copy of the book Anarchist wrote about meal prep. I thought that was the Anarchist cookbook for a minute. Mitch says, I love the whole series of Going Home, but that first book is the best. Just a guy trying to get to his family. It is a good book. Man, it's a good book. We got Robin. Okay, Tracy Lynn. This is the one where I was here. Tracy Lynn, The Last Babylon. What a great book. I love that. That's the one where some young private ends up dropping a bomb on a train, causing a chain reaction that causes the whole world to go to nuclear war.
Okay.
Such a good book. The first 3 Outlander books, The Stand, War of Souls, Dragonlance trilogy, The Witcher books, and there's too many more, she said. That's funny. I've never read Witcher books, have you?
No, and I've actually tried to watch The Witcher a couple times, but I think it's just a little too much fantasy for me.
I think so, yeah.
And I love Henry Cavill.
Yes.
I really do. And I think he's a great actor, but I just can't get into those. I'm trying so hard, and I've tried watching the first episode 3 or 4 times now. I think it's probably like Game of Thrones, where you have to get through the first, couple episodes before you actually like it. But I'll try it again.
I think my front-facing camera is starting to go because we, I don't know if they can see it on there. See what happens if we turn this off.
Turn this one too.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh,
too dark.
Yeah, it's really blurry. Yeah.
It is. I don't know what's causing it. Let's see what we got going on here anyway. All right. So, let's go through your list, baby doll.
Okay.
Desktop doesn't want to restart.
Yeah, what's taking
I don't know.
What's it doing?
It probably fried something while we were.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll finish. This is okay.
Do you want me to restart it or? Oh no, there it is.
See, you threatened to push the button, but go ahead. You keep making your list, and we'll jump over.
All right. So
StreamYard once we can.
The first one I have is I don't have anything in particular, but British history books. So I like anything about the British monarchy. It doesn't matter who it is. I'll probably get my balls busted, but I love the monarchy. I have an incredible respect for them. I do really enjoy reading books about Henry VIII.
Yeah, you do.
And I like reading about Anne Boleyn and all. So I do enjoy those type of books. I have Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood.
Have you read that before?
I have read it.
Okay.
No, I have read it, and I do like the show, of course.
Yeah.
I have The Shack by Paul Young.
Yeah,
W.M. Paul Young, sorry. I
liked that one, didn't you?
I love The Shack. If anybody has, it's kind of like it's actually, I've watched the movie, and the movie is actually really comparable to the book. But the book is way sadder. The book is so sad. My favorite book of all time is Nathaniel by John Saul.
So
I do love Nathaniel.
Quick poll time out there. Has anyone else read John Saul? Because you love him. I knew of him, of course, when I worked at the library. But every time we go into a bookstore,
Yeah.
the kids working at the bookstore, when you mention him, act like they've never heard the name in their life.
He's not as popular as he used to be, right?
Right.
So, but Nathaniel is a really, really good read. I used to read it when I flew a lot, so the copy I had got all mangled up and ripped up and everything. So I actually recently bought a new copy of it.
Oh, right.
I have. I'm a sucker. I love my V.C. Andrews.
Which ones?
The older series. So we got the Flower in the Attic series, the Heaven series, the Dawn series, Rain, and Ruby series. Now, when you get into the newer ones where it's like the orphan and the teenage, I'm not into those. I think the Dawn series is probably my favorite.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your all-time favorite book?
V.C. Andrews?
Yeah.
Probably Web of Dreams.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Oh, we're back.
Here we go.
Yeah, there we are.
All right. We are going to give us 1 second here. We're going to close this out. 1 second. Here we go.
Switch them around.
There we go. Can you hear us now? All right.
Turn these guys off.
Yep. And there we go. And we
so
are
I'm
back.
not sure why we lost the power. That was that. I think there's a storm coming. The weather is so heavy today, and it keeps saying there isn't one, but there's got to be something coming.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So so I don't know if anybody's ever read V.C. Andrews. It's not a guy's book,
But she was super popular.
Yeah.
At the library. Of course, I worked in the library from 97 to 99, but she was super popular back then.
And of course, I have a really, really soft spot for cookbooks.
Yeah,
I love cookbooks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I always did too.
Every time I'm at a yard sale, I'm always buying cook. I have so many cookbooks, and honestly, I never cook anything out of them. I just like reading them. I don't know. They're like, or I'll get them, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna make that. And I never make it.
You know what I loved? I used to love finding cookbooks from the 50s. The old diner foods and things. I don't know.
I like baking cookbooks too.
I get it.
Now some people are going to think it's very weird, but I enjoy Century of Warfare books.
Okay.
I love
those big like time life books.
Yeah. When I was a kid, my grandfather used to have Century of Warfare of all the wars going back to like before the Confederate War.
Okay.
And I love reading those books. I love anything history. World War II books. Anything about World War II. I'm a huge fanatic for history there. I love Egyptian history.
Yes.
So anything Egyptian history books. And I'm a little bit quirky I like reading books about the zodiac signs and meanings of dreams and stuff like, kind of like.
Have you ever, I know it's been a lot of years, but have you ever read books you remember in those that you really liked? Or do you remember a certain?
My grandmother used to have a series of books. It was a 3-pack, and it was like meanings behind your signs, meanings of dreams. And I love those type of books. And Egyptian history books are the same. Like I love reading about like, Caesar and Antony and Cleopatra and
history. Any history is
I just like anything like that. And it doesn't have to be Egyptian. It could be anything like, but World War II books, it's not something I say I love reading, but I love the history behind everything.
Right.
So I like reading about the warfare and planes, tanks, all that kinds of stuff. All that kind of, it's all interesting.
For me as a kid, growing up, the Second World War veterans were all still alive. Mm-hmm. So I heard a ton of stories about World War II. But as I got older, I got really interested in the First World War because we never heard much about it growing up, right?
No, and I that's why I put Central Warfare, because I love reading about World War I, and I like I like reading about even like the older wars from Henry VIII's time and all that kind of stuff. So those would be my 10 anyway. It would be a vast library. That's what I mean when I say I cheat.
Yeah, that's okay. whatever, there wasn't really any rules per se. It's just
No.
a fun, So we've done music, we've done books. We also did a completely unexpected power outage, which nobody thought would happen. So we lost there. There we go. So that does mean I do need to get a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply, which is just a little battery box that you plug your computer into. And then that would have just skipped. But we would have probably still lost our Wi-Fi. So I'll have to plug that into it too. But
yeah, we definitely would have lost the Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi doesn't work on good days. So.
Right. Although I do think I have a battery power supply box that's coming that I have to test out that may work as one of those. So we'll give it a shot. But so anyway, we're going to go on to movies here, but I just wanted to say thanks, guys, because when I logged back in, there was still 16 people there watching a blank screen. So I appreciate you guys for like goddamn sure caught them preppers again, right? So
no, he put our power bill up too high.
Yeah, it's true. Yep, they shut it off on us. We couldn't afford it. So.
Yeah, it's too high. We didn't pay it within the 10 days.
Too damn high. Yeah. So you start with the movies, babe. Do you want to do?
Okay.
How many you want to do at a time?
Well, I have 10.
Okay.
Or no, I think I have 11.
So you want to do 3 at a time, or do you want to do? Yeah, let's do 3 at a time.
Yeah, I have 11. Okay, so yeah, actually, I was wrong. I do have the day after tomorrow on here.
I knew you did.
I forgot I put in there, but I did erase one in there. I erased 2012.
I assume
because
you love that.
I don't know. I just I couldn't figure out which one I liked more. So I put day after tomorrow, and I should have put /2012.
No, your favorite is day after tomorrow.
Yeah, I do like that one. Yeah. Dawn of the Dead, the original.
Oh,
not the original. Sorry, the one with Sarah
Zack
Paul.
Snyder.
With Sarah Pauli. Yeah. And
that has one of the best opening sequences of a zombie
I
film
love
ever.
Dawn of the Dead, and
and
I should have put a /World War Z because I really love World War Z too.
I just like World War Z. I don't love it.
I watched it the other day. It was really good. And then I have the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Because the original one with Robert Englund.
I'll give you that.
I love my Freddy Krueger.
We'll just call that. You just brought down a little Blu-ray kit, a little multi-kit Blu-ray with all just the originals, the Robert Englund ones. Mm-hmm. And I would watch them
1 through 7.
Now, if I had to pick, I would probably take Friday the 13th. But I know you love. I know, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love my Freddy, so. I definitely had to put those on there.
Yeah, no, I can't. So what did you have? You had Dawn of the Dead,
Day After Tomorrow /2012, okay, and Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Yeah, I can see all of those. They're all entertaining beyond belief. So, One Step Closer said Predator.
That's I do like one. Predator. Yeah,
the old,
the original one with Arnold. Yeah,
Shaun of the Dead for Byron Roberts. I don't have it on my list, but
I like Shaun of the Dead too.
I would,
but it's I classify Shaun's Dead as a comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge comedy. So,
I mean, if we rented an Airbnb in an underground bunker and the world ended and the only film they had was Shaun of the Dead, we wouldn't be disappointed.
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, we would make it work for sure. Backwoods Butcher says this one's coming out of left field, but the Nicholas Sparks collection from Notebook to Safe Haven. Ooh.
It's funny. I don't have any movies like that on my list.
I'll just say his dad was friends with Tiger King. True story.
With who?
Tiger King. You remember Tiger King? Or something like that. I don't remember what he said. Yeah, anyway, but there's jokes about they bug him about it. But no, that you know what?
I don't mind the Notebook.
I'll be honest.
Safe Haven, I don't know which one that is.
That might have been the one. You remember the one? I want to say it had, was it Robert Pattinson or the one who played Ted Bundy? Who's the other one there? Zac Efron. It might have been one of those where he played like a military guy and he fell in love with
and then he ends up dying.
The veterinarian or
does
something.
He end up dying?
They all die in the end. Everybody falls in love, somebody dies, everybody cries.
I think I've seen it. I'm not huge into mushy mush either. So.
And that's okay. Backwoods says we're the single mom. You know what?
Yeah.
Dude, this is the best part of this show is you can listen or watch whatever the hell you want because that's your guilty pleasure. You know?
The lucky one. That's the one.
Yes.
See, you didn't even know either.
I mean, they all blend in together. It's, so-and-so falls in love. They live for a while. Somebody dies. Everybody cries. The end. That's how it works. I'm fall in love. Yeah. All right. So my list.
Yes.
Pulp Fiction. I have seen that movie.
Of course.
if it's I guess if it's a drama, that's probably the film I've seen the absolute most. I can quote most of it. And It is just infinitely rewatchable. I see something in that film every time I watch it that I never noticed before. So yeah, and you like Pulp Fiction.
I don't mind it.
It's good. Tracy Lynn says Dawn of the Dead, Zombieland, Hellraiser 1, Tank Girl, Unfinished Business. I don't know that. Does the title include the 3 periods afterwards? Because that's kind of ironic, Unfinished Business. It probably does, but I don't
recognize that one.
No.
Who's in that one, Tracy?
Do you remember Tank Girl?
I do remember Tank Girl, yes.
Lori Petty. Is that who it was? Am I wrong? I don't know. I think it was. I remember renting that and Pauly Shore's Biodome, the same. Oh, I know. I do too.
Hate Pauly Shore. I'm sorry.
I remember mom and dad were going away for the weekend and they let me rent 3 movies, and that was 2 of them. I don't remember what the other one was. But
that just shows what kind of taste you have.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's a Vince Vaughn movie. It's hilarious. Unfinished Business. Huh. Well, we're going to have to Google that in a minute. Nate Lemaster.
I've probably seen it.
Let's just see what we can find here. Unfinished Business. There it is. Oh, man, that only looks vaguely familiar. I don't know. Do you remember that, Daryl? Yeah, anyway.
I remember it, but I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, well, you're always looking for a good comedy to watch.
Oh, so. Yeah.
Tracy says it's a good movie. Everybody says it's a good movie, so you'll watch it with me. The Matrix, that's another one. I would watch The Matrix. I love The Matrix.
I don't like The Matrix.
Just the first one.
Yeah.
The rest don't exist to me, but the first one was so good.
I think it's just because, like, I love Keanu Reeves, but he is such a horrible actor in that movie.
He's a bad actor, period.
Not in John Wick. He's good in John Wick.
You don't need to be an actor in John Wick. He is an action star.
I know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a good actor, but friggin' Commando is a classic.
I know, but I don't know. The Matrix is, I don't know. I never liked I don't like sci-fi either, though. Really.
Yeah, I get it. And to me, I was 18 years old when The Matrix came out. It spoke to me. I was like, oh, I want to be a computer hacker with a leather jacket and all that crazy stuff. But yes, John Wick is friggin' exceptional. I love
John Wick movies.
Matter of fact, that movie may or may not have made it on my list this time.
We haven't seen the 4th one yet. We do have to see that one.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we haven't. Yeah, we will. And of course, if we're down there for multiple years, we have to watch Lampoon's Christmas Vacation every year for Christmas. So since Becky didn't put it on her list, and I know she'd have to have it in a bunker with me for 10 years, I put it on there.
I think that would actually be a really good fire starter.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
That's
I love it. You watch it with me. It's our family tradition. And it is absolutely quotable. I still laugh at that damn movie every year.
I can't.
Shitter was full, honey. Shitter was full.
I don't know. No. A Christmas movie is Die Hard.
Well, you know what's cool is Groundhog Day. One step closer to Groundhog Day, you could literally wake up and watch it every day in the bunker.
Yay.
First 3 Indiana Jones. Unpopular opinion, I don't really like the Indiana Jones films.
I don't mind them. I find they're really talky, and they're longer than they need to be.
Yeah. A lot of those,
and I am not a huge Harrison Ford fan. Like, I don't mind him, but he's really dry too.
There's a lot of movies from the 80s that are considered classics that I just didn't dig. I know I've said it before, but the Ghostbusters are the same way. E.T.'s the same way.
I don't like any of those. I just
find them all kind of, and Backwoods Butcher says he agrees with me that Die Hard is not a Christmas film, so I appreciate that.
Christmas film.
So it's in audio. I spoke it. It makes it true, so you can't take it back.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Take care, Robin. She said kids Gran has to call it. Yard sale tomorrow, canning to be done. Have fun canning. We always loved canning. We did a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. And One Step Closer says Byron Roberts, there are only 3 Indiana Jones films. And my other Christmas comedy on the list is Home Alone, and I would subject you to that, but you do like that film. Yeah, it's really, you do. Yeah, you do. When we watch, you just bitch because it gives you something to bitch about, but it's not bad. All right, what do you got?
Then
next?
You're gonna love my next one.
Oh Jesus, here we go.
Okay,
guys.
So the first one, you're not gonna be too bad. I love the Halloween series.
Oh yeah,
the original Halloween series,
and they're okay.
Not the one, like I'm talking like 1, 2, no 3.
Season of the
4
Witch.
and 5. Yes.
Was 3 Season of the Witch?
Yeah, no Season of the Witch, because that is a stupid movie. Just like with the Nightmare on Elm Street series. No Freddy 2. No.
Oh, that one was bad.
That one was bad. Yeah. No, those ones don't count, and those ones are not included in my series, by the way. Now I'm going to subject you to a couple guilty pleasures.
Oh, see that? I had a cold chill at the exact time you told me that.
Hunger Games series. I like the Hunger Games, just like I'm a Swiftie.
Yeah.
I love the Hunger Game movies. I don't know, it's just a guilty pleasure.
They're okay. Yeah, I won't.
I don't mind them.
You know what? Of all of the young adult post-apocalyptic novels turned into movies, I could at least those were good.
Yeah, I do.
The rest of them were like, the Fifth Wave and all those. You're like, really?
No.
Where did these come from?
And this one you're really gonna love.
Oh, here we go.
What do you think it is?
As soon as you say it, I'll know it. But give me the genre. What's the genre?
Vampire.
Oh my God, the Twilight films.
Twilight series.
Now, here's the deal, though.
They're a guilty pleasure. I love the Twilight series.
I actually really, really liked the first one.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good. If they had only made that movie, I remember watching
they had
it
to do
thinking,
all the books.
Yeah, whatever.
The second one I could take or leave, and the very last one was the CGI was really bad in it, but they're a good story. They're a guilty pleasure. It's a good way to kill an afternoon when it's raining. I don't know. I enjoy them. Like,
you know what? If the kids are with us, they can watch them with you. I'll go out to my shop. Honey, why are you standing in the corner? It's my shop. Be quiet. Yes, One Step Closer said, well, Jennifer Lawrence was the first female action star. That's what she said one time. Yeah. That she thought, there really was no female action star roles before that. I mean, there was
and the Hunger Games is really good.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, we're talking about Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley.
Yeah,
they didn't exist, but
no, they never did. So, but it is a good movie, and
Tracy Lynn agrees with you.
Yeah, and I like the Twilight series. I don't know, like, are they ever going to win any awards or anything? No, but it's just a guilty pleasure.
They probably won some MTV Movie Awards. But...
yeah, for Razzies maybe. I
think they won for like Hottest Kiss or something. They used to do that, but
I don't know.
I did like the first one. When we first watched it, I was like, well, this is kind of original.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I really thought that the two of them had chemistry.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it a good movie too. Is that because they were dating.
Sure.
When they were filming the movie. So the chemistry was good, and like the acting wasn't great, but Robert Pattinson was really good in it.
Yeah.
And I think Robert Pattinson is a really good actor. And
I agree.
It's just, I don't know.
And it's, and it's interesting that they have both gone on to incredible things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kristen Stewart's not the greatest actress in the world.
But she won a friggin' French Oscar. Like she picked some bad movies too. But
like she's not the best actress, but Robert Pattinson is really good.
Yeah. I mean, he's a killer Batman.
And you know what? So. And I think the rules were made for them. And I don't know. It's
about time they reboot Twilight. I'm sure they will at this point.
Oh, it'll just be ridiculous.
Oh, it'll be awful. Yeah.
But
was that how many? You want to read one or two more?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, I kind of cheated on this one. The DC movie series.
Oh, I see.
So that would be.
So this will be a book of Okay.
Well, so no, not all of them. So this would be right from the Henry Cavill Superman.
Yes, I love Man of Steel.
So Man of Steel, awesome. And then you got and actually, I was just watching Dawn of Justice last night.
What one was that? Justice?
Batman versus Superman. That one.
Yeah.
So that one, and then of course the Justice League. And then you've got the first Wonder Woman movie, not 1984. That movie was shit, even though Pedro Pascal is in it. It was a shitty movie, unfortunately.
How does that happen?
It was the director.
From one of the greatest superhero movies ever made to one of the worst, and it should have been perfect. It was Wonder Woman in the 80s. How could you go wrong? And it was so fucking bad. It was awful.
So bad. And I don't understand because like Pedro Pascal is incredible.
Right.
And
what did he play in it?
He was the bad guy. And Gal Gadot is in an incredible Wonder Woman
through and through.
So I don't understand where it went wrong. It was too much CGI, too much over the top.
You can have too much CGI.
And then of course the Flash movie. Which we haven't seen yet, and I know it's going to get a lot of flack for it, but we have to watch it and then like that whole DC movie series, I love all those.
Is Tracy saying that Robert Pattinson's a great singer?
Oh, maybe.
I didn't know. If he is,
He looks like he might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. It's all I can say. He has taken some really good roles the last few years. Anyway.
And do you remember, I think it was the first year into COVID, we started and we watched all the Marvel series in order.
Did. That's right.
That whole Marvel series.
Okay.
I love that. Like, if you go online and you Google timeline of the Marvel movies, it gives you what movie to start with and what way to watch them, so they all intertwine. And that was I love that. I love all the Marvel movies.
Let's say all the Marvel movies until the Spider-Man that came out after Endgame.
Yes.
That was Far From Home, Going Home, Spider-Man loses his home, Spider-Man's homeless. I can't remember which one it was, but that was a great film.
But you know what though? I'm not gonna bash Spider-Man too much, because Tom Holland is an incredible Spider-Man.
Oh, I love Spider-Man.
No, and the one with all three of them, that was really good.
Oh yeah. But what I'm saying is, from then on was all shit. The new ones, I've just
like the new Black Panther movie was shit, and WandaVision and whatever the hell.
We're just going to pretend like
those don't exist. Yeah. No, but if you Google it, just that timeline all the way up to Endgame, I love those movies.
So I've got a couple of more comedies, but
of course you do, because you know how much I love comedies.
There's one on here that you would watch over and over again with me, and that's Tremors.
I do like Tremors. I like Kevin Bacon. Yeah,
Tremors is a perfect film from start to finish. There's not a wasted line of dialogue. There is not a wasted plot point. It's perfect. I mean, even down to the graboids. They look so stupid, but they're practical. The movie is, I cannot find a flaw with that film.
And you know, it's a sin too. I was so hoping they would have rebooted it, and then he passed away, and I was like, that's
give a shout out to Haas. Great to see you in here, even for just a minute. We appreciate you dropping by every time.
Yeah, it was a sin when
I heard Ward, right?
That when he passed away, because I was so hoping they would have did a reboot of it.
They started it. They were going to do a Tremors TV series. They did a pilot, which we never got to see. Both of them were in it.
Not as TV series. I wish they would have did a remake of the movie.
But it was going to be like a short, 6 or 8 episode show with the two of them in it, dealing with the graboids again. I would have loved it. But Tremors is a perfect film. It's perfectly written, perfectly paced, and there's something about what are their names? The guys in the movie. But I mean, Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. Their relationship is perfect.
I can't remember. Wasn't one of them Frank?
It's all right. Yeah, I can't think of them right now. But anyway, they were. There's something about how those two carry on. They complete each other's sentences, but they're hilarious. Like they always end up just. They're in the funniest situations. They know what each other wants, but yet they bust each other's balls constantly. It's just
it's so cheesy. Too,
it is.
Right?
Yes.
It's so cheesy.
I love that.
No, movie. It is a really good movie.
Oh yeah. So we got Tremors, and then of course Blast from the Past. The irony isn't lost on me about a guy who spends 30 years in a bunker and then grows up. But I do love that film. That was when I was working at the Bar None camp for kids whose parents were in jail. And so we were 2 weeks on with kids, 2 weeks off mowing lawns and picking rocks. And during those 2 weeks, we could go and rent whatever we wanted from the local Texas River convenience store. This was just this little, it was and they still, this was 2001 and they still had VHSs to rent then. So that tells you something. So anyway, they had some VHSs I could borrow too, but I rented Blast from the Past and we watched it probably 10 times that summer. And I'd never heard of it. And I just loved it. It's a funny film. I'll give you one more. And it is definitely, we've already covered the only 2 Christmas movies on this list, so we don't need to have that discussion again. But Die Hard. Now,
all the Die Hard series.
Because
I know they kind of get stupid as they go on, but you know what? I do like all.
I will take Die Hard, Die Harder, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. Those 3 are incredible. I actually think I like Die Hard with a Vengeance more than Die Hard. That's one with
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. That's a great film. Tommy Boy. Oh, that's a good one. Yes. I could take a crap in a box and tell you, what does he give you a guarantee on that? Tommy Boy.
I've never watched that movie.
You've never seen Tommy Boy? Oh my goodness.
No. I know it has
man in a little suit.
I know it has Chris Farley in it. Yeah.
Chris Farley and David Spade.
I can't stand David Spade.
Tubi has all the Tremors, hon.
I love Tubi.
Becky has recently fallen in love with Tubi.
It has all the movies on it that I love. The one I watched last night was An American Crime with Elliot Page, or
Ellen Page.
Ellen Page.
Now
Elliot Page. No, it's called American. It's based on a true story.
American Crime. Okay.
It's called An American Crime. It's actually like it's not like it's based on a true story based on a woman who murders a young girl, and it's pretty good. It was very, very good movie.
Backwoods says The Fat Man is a good action comedy. Was that the Christmas movie with the buddy from Stranger Things that we watched? I think it might have been. Let's take a look.
Or is that the one with Mel Gibson?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
No, we haven't watched that one yet. No.
Mel Gibson also. Yeah, I got it confused with the other one, but yeah, it's the one with Mel Gibson plays Santa Claus, I guess, right? So The Rock's a good film. I love The Rock, actually, that movie. And Mitch, who's your favorite? It's a great line from Tommy Boy.
Okay.
Who's your favorite little rascal? Spanky, because he caught him in his hotel room. And, it's such a good, kid. Yeah, oh man, those two guys, they would, David Spade. I seen an interview with him recently, and he used to say that, you know the line, housekeeping, you want your pillows fluffed? It comes from there.
Okay.
And it all started.
See, I pull it from Family Guy.
Yeah, well, they took, but it started from there, and that was a little bit that Chris Farley used to do with David Spade all the time. So every morning he'd wake him, he'd knock, and he wouldn't leave him alone. And he'd just stand there and say, you want your pillows fluffed? Until he would open the door. So loved it. But yeah, so Die Hard, infinitely rewatchable. That movie's just awesome.
Yeah, I do like Die Hard.
How many you got left, babe?
I have 3.
Give them to me, baby.
Okay, the original Batman movies. Now, I don't mean original Michael Keaton.
You mean like Adam West from 1966?
No, I consider these the ones with Christian Bale.
Oh, gosh, Robin.
The one with Heath Ledger, Christian Bale.
Hashtag Heath Ledger's my Joker.
Yeah, so those original ones, like there was 3 in the series.
Yeah, it was Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight
Returns. Yeah, Rises. Yeah, those 3. I like that series.
Oh, Batman. Yeah,
yes.
I can't do Bane's voice.
Yeah.
He does a good voice.
Yeah. Of course, one of my favorites, War of the Worlds.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I almost put War of the Worlds on there.
With Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise and little, what's her face? Whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, it's Dakota.
Dakota Fanning. Yeah.
Yeah. And last one is I Am Legend.
Again, the irony of watching a movie about the world ending. But...
And actually, I watched I Am Legend a couple weeks ago, and it did not age well.
The CGI was so, you know what, to be fair,
unfortunately, because it's
such a great film, but the CGI was bad even from day one. Do you remember when we watched,
but you kind of overlook it because the movie was so good.
Yeah, and it's still great.
But now when you watch it, you're just like, oh man, this is not aging well at all.
It's one of the few films that would actually benefit from going back and touching up the CGI. And I'm not a big fan of that at all, but I would definitely say that one would be.
Can I mute this for a second?
Sure.
Sorry, I had to cough, guys.
Don't talk to me like that, Mrs. Cook. Man, she had to mute it. You guys can just imagine what she said to me. So.
No, I didn't want to cough in everybody's ears. Yeah, so no, but I watched it a couple weeks ago and I was like, no, it didn't age very well. And I don't know, it just kind of like you get watching, you're like, oh, well, this is disappointing, right? But yeah. It's still a good movie.
It is.
It's a really good movie. And they're remaking it.
Despite they're making a sequel.
Or sequel, sorry. Yeah, they are making
despite the fact that Will Smith did what Will Smith did.
Oh, whatever. It was like Chris Rock. I know.
He's a great actor. Will Smith is incredible. And it sucks because he has taken he's over the last 10 years has made some real shitty movies, but he's an awesome actor.
He's an incredible actor, and he lets his talent go to waste on shitty movies. And honestly, he slapped Chris Rock. I don't care if I see Chris Rock.
Chris Rock's voice inspires you to slap him.
If I see Chris Rock on the street, I'd probably slap him too. I can't stand him. Like he's not funny. He's loud. He's obnoxious. He's rude. And honestly, you see him walking down the street. If anybody sees him walking down, walk up and give him a good slap right across the head. Jail, but yeah, well, it'd be worth it. It'd be worth it.
So
it'd be a misdemeanor. Come on,
where is it?
Just be a
Backwoods Butcher is not old enough to remember Waterworld.
I love Waterworld.
Me too.
Kevin. Now, see, it's funny though because Kevin Costner in Waterworld is not like Kevin Costner now in Yellowstone.
No.
Like, I don't know what happened there. Like it's so weird.
You know, though, he almost looked older in Waterworld than he did.
He's aged really well.
Yeah, he has.
Like, and his acting has gotten way
Well, he
better,
was always a good
right?
actor, though. I mean, think back to Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, but he was dry.
Yeah, but that was what he did. But I mean, he is absolutely perfect. He was made to make Westerns. You know, that stoic, you know, cowboy kind of persona. He does perfect with that.
But John Dutton, that is Kevin Costner. I don't even rate to a T. That part was made for him.
And you know, the worst of it is that I think what's gonna happen. So who knows whether he returns to finish the final half season.
I think he's going to.
Doesn't sound like he's gonna, but whatever happens, he's gonna go make that friggin' like 4-hour Western that he wants to make, and it's probably gonna suck donkey balls.
Probably. Well, and did you see CBS picked up Yellowstone?
Well, okay, hold on.
That?
Let me fill you in on what's going on.
Okay.
So for those who don't know, of course, there's been a writer's strike for 4 months now, and now the actors are going on strike. So if anybody doesn't remember, the last time we had a writer's strike, they decided to put out a whole bunch of programming that doesn't require writers. You know what that is? Reality TV.
Oh, boy.
So that's when we got things like, Survivor, and because you're not paying actors. So the actors are on strike too, right? So the only TV they can make right now is, well, that's about it, reality TV. So all of the big networks had to come up with a plan of what we're going to make for television in the fall. So television already sucks ass anyway.
Yeah.
So they're basically going to go with game shows and reality TV. Now, CBS is like, well, what else do we have? We're going to play Yellowstone reruns, edit it. So they are going to block out all the F-bombs and everything because they have nothing else. They have no TV shows in the pipeline, and everybody's going to be competing with crap. It's going to be hilarious. I think it's going to be the downfall of network television.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I didn't read the full story. I just read that, and I'm like, how can CBS pick up Yellowstone? Like, Yellowstone is so crap. That'd be like picking up Game of Thrones.
But they own the show, right? Paramount or whatever. So, but it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be a failure of epic proportions. And you know what? I would not, I'm just going to say it, if this writer and actor strike is the downfall of Hollywood, I won't miss it. There's enough good movies and TV shows that we could watch for the rest of our life.
There are enough good movies that are left over.
Yeah.
That we could watch.
Fucking let it burn, baby. I'm ready to see it all go.
Shit.
Yep.
Like, they really are.
Because you've got greed on both sides, and people be like, "Oh, it's not fair to compare the unions to the billion-dollar studios." Well, you know what? It doesn't matter. They're all greedy. I don't care. Greed's fine. You can be greedy if you want, but the problem is that the product has absolutely sucked ass for years, and it's getting worse by the year. And it's to the point where they don't put out things that people want to see. They put out things that push a message and an agenda, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, and that's like, and I know actors and actresses, they work and everything, but the problem is, like, with them going on strike, maybe it'll get to the point where because like the last 10, 15 years, for some reason, everyone has put them up on some sort of pedestal, and they need to be knocked down a little bit. You know, okay, yeah, like, you make a lot of money, good for you. I never begrudge anybody that, but you're not better than anybody else. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just kind of like, okay, everybody else works just as hard as you do. Just because we're not making $20 million a movie doesn't make you better. And they're like up on this pedestal where they think there's some sort of untouchable, like, gods or something, and they need to be knocked down.
I like to see people being creative for the sake of being creative. And if you want to make money, great, go for it.
Oh yeah, I would never begrudge that.
No, you know, but this is a great point. One Step Closer says there's a lot of great, good independent stuff being done today. The other night I was watching a YouTube review of some movie. I don't even remember what the movie was, but there was a comment in there, the top pinned comment. Somebody said, "Do you know what? I now watch YouTube videos of YouTubers talking about movies instead of going and watching the movies because I know the movies are going to be shit, and I'm more entertained by three guys in a basement talking about a movie than I am going to pay $85 at the theater.
Well, because they're real.
Right.
Right? Like someone needs to humble some of these actors and actresses because even to bring up COVID again too.
Sure. Oh,
like
geez,
that
yeah.
whole bullshit of like Gal Gadot starting that singing. Like, okay, no. We don't need you to entertain us by singing over a computer because you think you're so much better than us.
Nope.
Like, and then there was that whole video about Sam Smith having his meltdown on his porch there because he couldn't leave his house. He couldn't leave his house that had an indoor-outdoor swimming pool, a movie theater, a sauna, hot tub, tennis court, basketball. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you need to be brought back down to reality. Like they're like people, but like we've put them up there.
Sure.
And they need to be brought back down. And they're not anything special. Like if you see them out in public and anything, all they do is treat people like shit. They're ignorant.
Forget who their fans are.
They forget who their fans are. They're like, the paparazzi, I know they are what they are, but you know what? That's their job. They still, and you know what I mean? Like just if the paparazzi would just stop taking pictures, they would just go away.
Well, people need to stop looking at the pictures.
Exactly. And honestly, and they never made another movie. I don't think I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
If Hollywood collapses over this, I'll be happy. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because
maybe that'll humble them a little bit, and maybe they'll realize who they are and who pays their salaries.
Because
right.
What I look at it now is it's a lot like in New Jersey. I believe it's New Jersey. It's illegal to pump your own gas, and that was a make work project or whatever. It was one of those government. And this is what it's coming to now with the writers and everybody else. They want a bigger piece of a smaller pie. And they're just going to sit there and whatever, because when it comes down to it, it's going to fall apart because everybody wants more and more and more. And you end up seeing movies like the latest Indiana Jones that was $390 million to make, which means it basically needs to break $1 billion at the box office just to be considered a moderate success.
Well, and they're not even being creative anymore. No. Well, the movie we went and seen for Adam's birthday, that Disney Elemental.
Oh,
that, and I am not over exaggerating.
So bad.
After the movie, I went up to Amy and I told her, I said, if you ever put me through a movie like that again, I am going to throw punch you. That was the worst movie I have ever seen at all. Like, it's just like, and it was Disney. It's like they're just spitting out all this crap because that's all they can do.
Yep.
And then of course now they're doing all the live action. But we don't need that. Come up with something new.
But they
right?
won't.
But because they don't have anything.
Because up until this point, redoing the same old shit was safe, and now all of a sudden they're losing money on it.
Yeah, well, because the live action movies suck. Like nobody wants to see any of that shit. I'm sorry. It's like I like the original Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
it was an animated movie. Leave it.
Tracy earlier said she'd take Moana and Little Mermaid.
I love Moana and I love the Little Mermaid, but if they do a live action Moana, I'm out. I'll never watch it.
It would have to be on VHS, of course. It would have to be the old clamshell VHS. Remember? That would be awesome.
But I love the Little Mermaid.
Yeah. That Disney Renaissance of the early 90s was great. Yeah. You had Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King. There was a couple more. But anyway, yeah.
But we don't need those as live action.
No.
But they're only doing that because they're out of ideas.
Sure.
And so just admit you're out of ideas and that you suck. You don't need to keep coming up with all this shit that people don't need, that people don't care about.
What I think is needed is a lot of really those kind of low to medium budget films. We don't get them anymore. Those were the ones where people had to absolutely. Martinson said, "Just hammer in the East Coast drawl." I'm sure it was. We get worked up, and that's what happens.
Yeah,
but yeah, the low to medium budget films are gone, and those were the creative ones. Those were the ones where a young up and coming director would be given $20 million from a studio and said, "We're going to leave you alone. We'll probably have a shadow director to help you, but you can do what you want because it's only $20 million." I mean, you look at was it Sinister or was that the last one that just came out or not Sinister with Patrick Wilson in it or the latest horror movie that just came out?
The Conjuring ones?
It wasn't The Conjuring. It just came out in theaters recently.
Insidious.
Insidious. So the latest Insidious film, any other film, its box office would be considered an absolute bust. The movie was poorly received. It had a bad audience score, cinema score, and it opened with like $30 million its first weekend, which means it made money after its first weekend. It made, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 million
Well, it's because
box
people
office.
like a good jump movie.
But
right?
The thing is, if you create a movie at $20 million, you don't have to make a lot of money back from it.
No.
And so and the other thing, and I don't get why they don't do this, is if you put out 17, $20 million movies this year and 2 of them are massive hits, well, you've won, but
yeah, no,
I don't run the studio, so I can't fix it.
I don't know. I don't understand. I will not lose sleep over any of them at all. And I don't know, maybe this will destroy a lot of them. And
I hope it does. Commando, that's my next one. So I have 3 left. I could watch Commando. That was, I think, might have been the first Arnold movie I ever watched. I used to rent it on VHS. I remember my cousin come over one time and I said, "Are you allowed to watch this?" "Oh, yeah, I can." And I'm like, "Okay." So we watched it and got in a lot of shit with his mother because she was very religious at the time. And so.
No, my dad had Commando on VHS.
Oh, Commando, so good. Remember when I said I was going to throw you over last?
I lied.
I killed you last. I lied.
Yeah, no, don't disturb my friend. He's sleeping as
he's
snaps
tired,
his neck.
Dead tired.
Now another good Arnold one that I watched was Red Heat.
Yeah,
with my dad.
Yeah, I think it's the one I've never seen.
Where he's a Russian?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a really good one.
Okay.
I remember watching that with my dad, and I got to see Arnold, and they show Arnold's naked butt.
Oh,
and I was like, "Oh my God, that's his ass."
Yeah, Arnold was great.
Oh, he was really built then.
Oh my God, you could bounce. I'm sure you could bounce quarters off his ass cheeks back in the day.
But I would have been, I don't know, I think I was like 10,
yeah,
10 or 11. So it's like
Saving Private Ryan. I could watch that. The beaches in Normandy scene alone is, because of course, if we had an underground bunker, it would probably have, Dolby Digital surround sound.
That's your
it's my test movie.
Your surround sound movie tester. Yeah.
Whenever I want to make sure my surround sound is working, I put it on that scene and watch it. But that whole movie's incredible.
Yeah, it is a good movie.
It's great from start to finish. And of course, John Wick.
John Wick series.
Yes. I
like all the John Wicks.
If I had to pick just one, it would be the first one.
The first one, yeah. I like them all. Although the one with Halle Berry was a little
with
that was
pencil.
Was that number 3?
I think so.
Yeah, no, it wasn't one.
How many men did he kill with a pencil? I don't know. Anybody know? Was it 8 or 20?
No, I like it when he calls them and he's like, we have a problem. I heard you hit my son. He goes, yeah, he stole he stole a car. Who's John Wick's car? Oh. And then he hangs up. I was like, yeah, somebody's in trouble.
Fury. That was.
I know which
is
one
that the tank film with Shane from The Walking Dead, John Barenthal?
Yeah, and it's got Brad Pitt, right?
Yeah, I think it does.
You know which one you didn't put on there?
What's that?
Inglourious Bastards.
It was on. So here's the deal. I wanted to only have one Tarantino film. So it was on. So on my phone, it was just below John Wick. I was like, no.
Inglourious Bastards and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was really good too.
It was, but I still put that below. To me, it's Pulp Fiction and Inglourious Bastards are 1A and 1B, and everything else is below that.
I loved Inglourious Bastards. That was a really good movie.
It was perfect Tarantino. It's crazy that.
And it was perfect Brad Pitt too.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was his role.
That's been going around on TikTok lately. The scene where he says
Nazis.
Nazis. But it's when they're taking the German leader out and he has his friend with him and he's like, what did he say? I negotiated his release too. And he's like, it's all right. I've been chewed out before. I'll be chewed out again. He says, that's all.
Yeah, no, he kills him. And he goes, I negotiate. He goes, that's all right. They'll just chew me out. I've been chewed out before.
He says, they'll execute you for that. He goes, nah. He says, they'll just give me a chewing. I've been chewed out before.
Go kill some Nazis.
Yes, I don't love Django. It's okay. I put it down in like the Jackie Brown, Death Proof. I mean, he doesn't make bad movies, right?
No, just in different sequences.
I would put, like I said, it would be 1 and 2, Pulp Fiction, and then Inglourious Bastards are 1A and 1B. And then the next down would be the Kill Bills, along with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Maybe Hateful Eight, but then everything else is below that.
Well, see, like Hateful Eight was okay. And then when he came out with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
it was so much
it's like,
better.
okay, yeah. Now this is the Tarantino that we like.
His next film is his last film.
I believe it.
Yeah, he's been saying, he was on Rogan recently too, and they were talking about it. But yeah, it's, what did he say, 10 films? I think is what he was going to limit himself to. But yeah, that's it. So his next one, and it'll be great. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, and then, but you never know. He might do another one after that too. They always say that.
No, he has made it abundantly clear he's done. You should watch the interview with him, because he basically likens it to being a baseball player who plays long past their prime and how bad they looked and things, but Tracy Lynn says, Inglourious Bastards. It's such a great film.
We went and seen that one in the theater.
Yeah,
that was so good.
I had tears in my eyes at the end just because it was such a great fucking film.
Well, because what did he release before that was so disappointing?
I think it was Django. No.
He had a couple before that.
Death Proof came out before that.
Yeah, and that was kind of just disappointing.
Let's see here, films. Order of Tarantino films. So it was, of course, we know Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown. Yeah, it was just Death Proof and Kill Bill.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm going to be honest. The first time I watched Kill Bill, I didn't like it.
It
was just so, but then you were like, you loved it. And so I've watched it and it's grown on me, and I realize how good of a film that is.
Oh, it is a really good film.
So good. But but
the second one was not as good as the first one.
It honestly should have just been one film.
I think so too.
1 4-hour film would have been great.
Yeah, because I found the second one, it kind of dragged out. Like they dragged the story out too long.
Yeah. And
it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, this could have been one movie.
Yes. And Backwoods Butcher said he watched the extended version of Hateful Eight. It was 4 hours. Piece of trivia. I don't know how I know all this shit, but so the original script for Hateful Eight leaked, because basically up until that point, Tarantino would send a script out to the actors. And so somehow somebody leaked it, and he got so mad that he canceled the film. He said, fuck it, I'm not doing it. And then eventually he's like, maybe I will. I can
see him do it.
Yeah, he did. So they had a live reading of the script. He's like, no, we're not going to do the movie. So we're going to go and on a theater stage and we're going to read the script. And so they did a live reading of the script. And he's like, I'm done with it. I'm moving on to another project. And then he rewrote the script and turned it into a movie afterwards. So kind of interesting. Who knows? I don't think he ever found out.
And Jackie Brown was awful.
Yeah, Jackie. The problem was that was his follow-up to Pulp Fiction. Everybody was waiting for him to catch light because it was Reservoir Dogs and then Pulp Fiction. And then after that, it was Jackie Brown. And I'm like, oh my, what is this film? I remember watching it and I'm like, who is this awful Pam Grier chick? I had no idea. And it was because he tried to do John Travolta with Pam Grier. He's like, oh, let's go get another 70s washed up actor and we'll bring it back around. But Jackie Brown is probably, that and Death Proof are probably my two worst.
Yeah.
I don't
but
like
then,
him at all.
But then when he come out with Inglourious Bastards, it's like, oh, okay. Yep. That was so good.
Yeah. So Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, Death Proof. Death Proof is probably his most forgettable film. Had Kurt Russell in it, right?
Yeah. Well, it was kind of like the two movies, wasn't it?
Well,
it was Death Proof, and then it was the other one with
Planet Terror.
Planet Terror.
So that it was a double feature, but Robert Rodriguez did Planet Terror.
Yeah.
And Tarantino.
They were both awful.
Yeah. But they, you know what? The cool thing is those guys worked together on a lot of films. They did. What was the one there? It was the vampire movie with Salma Hayek in it.
Dusk Before Dawn.
Dusk Before Dawn, yeah, or From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That was, I forget how that worked. One of them wrote the script, one of them directed it, and they also worked on one of my favorite movies from the 90s called 4 Rooms. I've never shown you that.
I don't think I've seen that one.
So a guy plays a bellhop. I want to say it's Tim Roth, but I might be wrong about that. It takes place on New Year's Eve in a hotel, and it's 4 different stories. Okay. So if you guys have never seen 4 Rooms, it's pretty cool. It was made at the height of kind of 90s, whatever. So if I got this right, Robert Rodriguez did a bit in it where it was Antonio Banderas and his wife want to go out for the evening, so they leave their kids home in the hotel room, and they find a dead hooker in the mattress. So there's that story. And the Quentin Tarantino story has Bruce Willis in it, and they do this thing where if he can light his lighter 10 times in a row, he gets like $500. But if he doesn't, they cut his thumb off with a cleaver, and he has to go to the hospital to get it reattached.
Okay.
And then another one is this crazy short film in there of Madonna playing witches. They're having this, like, it's not a seance, what do witches do when they're like conjuring spirits or something?
Oh yeah, like,
because I remember watching it because Madonna takes her top off in it. So
not Madonna showing her boobs.
I know. And I can't remember what the fourth story was, but it's a great movie if you've never watched it. It's great. It's one of those might have fell under the radar 90s films.
Oh yeah, no,
cool.
I've never heard of it.
I watched all that shit, you know me. But yeah, so the Django, Hateful Eight was good, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I think he's working on his latest one right now. But according to IMDb, the ranking of the films, that's crazy. Wow. Anyway, so Pulp Fiction was the highest rating with an 8.9 with 1.7 million votes, and his lowest reviewed movie was Death Proof 7.0. Second best was Django Unchained, then Reservoir Dogs, then Inglourious Bastards. So interesting, hey? Yeah. Sucker Punch, you ever seen that? Wasn't that a Zack Snyder film? About a girl with superpowers, maybe?
I want to say yes. I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, Sucker Punch. Yeah, it was that wasn't Ellen Page in that, was it? Or no, she would have been too old. 2011. So who was it? Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder. I don't think I've ever seen it. Yeah, it's a superhero movie, I believe. So
no, I've never seen that one.
No, it's supposed to be good. It's Zack Snyder. So Slapshot. You ever watch Slapshot? That's that Canadian movie with they just fight a lot. You know, the hockey movie. It's a comedy.
Oh,
yeah. I've never seen it, but yeah, I guess it's supposed to be good. People make fun of Canadians because, anyway, it's like Strange Brew. You know that movie Strange Brew?
No.
Doug and Dave? You don't know that one either?
Oh, is that the one with Rick Moranis?
Yeah. Okay. It started out.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
Well, it originally started out as a skit on a TV show, I believe.
Yeah, I remember seeing the skits.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that was what it was called.
Happy Gilmore. I love Happy Gilmore. Oh my God, yes. That is probably the best Adam Sandler movie. Oh my God. When he knocks out, or when Bob Barker knocks him out. The Price is Wrong, bitch.
I have actually not seen that movie start to finish. I've only seen little
you're
clips
missing
of
out.
it. No, I'm not. I'm not missing anything.
Goodness.
Like, I don't mind Adam Sandler for some of his movies, but I think what sealed the deal with me was when he did that Jack and Jill movie.
Oh yeah.
And I never watched another one of his until he did that one with Jennifer Aniston.
You know what was a good one? And I know I didn't get you to watch that, but that was it Huey Halloween or Hubie Halloween? His latest one had a really killer soundtrack as well. But it was a Netflix movie. It was a Halloween film.
No.
I watched it one time when you were at home because I knew you wouldn't watch it with me. Cutting Edge. Do you know Cutting Edge?
Yes, I do.
Is that a figure skating movie?
It's a figure skating movie. It had...
Sounds like something Charlotte would love.
I can't remember. DB Sweeney was in it, I think.
Okay.
Don't ask me how I know. That's useless information up here.
Whatever.
Just check. I think it was DB Sweeney.
All right, we'll look it up here. So what Cutting Edge was it? Yeah, Cutting Edge. DB Sweeney and Mariah Kelly.
Moira
Kenny. Who is that? DB Sweeney?
That's DB Sweeney.
Yeah, he
don't ask me how I remembered that.
Early 90s teen drama look to him, right? So,
yeah, but he's a hockey player and she's a figure skater, and she
Forbidden Romance. It's like an early 90s twist on Romeo and Juliet, except they don't kill themselves and they wear skates. So very interesting. Yeah. And dogs are going crazy out there tonight.
Oh, they don't know what they're
Aaron
doing.
thought it was a hockey movie, Nate said.
Well, it kind of is.
Yeah.
But kind of isn't. I don't know. I remember watching it.
Mitch says, you making a list of movies she hadn't seen? Because I have a list for my wife, and so far she hates them all. That's awesome. And that honestly, we should get Charlotte to watch that because she would love that movie. That's
I don't know. She's kind of
she's changed a little, but
her movie taste. I made them watch that Evil Dead Rises. I'm gonna make them horror movie
That was a
Lovers.
that was a perfect horror movie. That was.
Mhm.
But I know we've talked about that, but
That's what we should do. We should do a list of the 10 goriest movies.
sure, yeah.
Like-
We'll get what do you call it? We'll get Chuck Peoples on to tell us what to do with all. How do you clean up from bloody murders like that without getting an infection? You know, but Labyrinth. Oh my goodness,
Labyrinth,
that's the one with David Bowie, right?
Yeah.
That freaked me out as a kid. That was a weird fucking movie.
No. See, now that's another one I don't like. I did watch it, but I haven't watched it since.
So earlier today, Ryan Pippin messaged me on Telegram, and he said, "Have you ever done an episode on board games, card games, things that you could take with you when you're bugging out to pass the time?" And I said, "Well, as a matter of fact, we haven't, but we're doing something similar tonight." So, since I didn't tell you, but how about board games? So,
Board games, okay. I'm gonna
we
be
need to
100
figure out, yeah, because I
I'm
know
gonna
what
be
you're going to say.
100% honest. Board games is probably one of those things that you have to be very extremely careful with, because they can really, like, I could tell you a board game that would not be going down there would be Monopoly, because I have a feeling that Monopoly would result in some physical harm. So but I'm thinking probably your basic, like your Uno, your Skippo, dominoes, probably.
We love so in the
like-
Cook family, dominoes is the official
Yeah.
family game. And
And a couple decks of cards you can play, like Crazy Eights and Rummy and poker and stuff. But I think board games, probably, we like Clue.
Yeah.
And we do like Life.
Risk. The girls love Risk.
And Risk.
Yeah. The cool thing about Risk
Yeah.
is it'll take a shit ton of time to play.
It would, but honestly, I don't think Monopoly would be one. No,
I mean, I can play it. The problem is that there's someone else in the family.
No, I'm not allowed to play Monopoly.
No.
Checkers and chess.
Oh, chess would be great.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Monopoly is one of those games where we grew up playing Monopoly with my dad, and just to put, well, no, I don't have to put. My dad was an asshole.
Yeah.
When it came to playing Monopoly, and we never understood the whole premise behind the game,
Right.
because he never taught us, because if he taught us, then we would know if he was cheating. You know what I mean? So
yep.
So it would get to the point where we would all be sitting around the coffee table playing, and my dad would have a stack of money and he'd have all the properties, and it always ended with me crying, Brian crying, and then my dad yelling at
Did
us.
he cheat?
Oh yeah, he was a cheater.
Oh my God.
And then my dad yelling at us for crying, and then he would stand up and he'd flip the board. And then
Are you serious? Oh.
Every time, because we would start crying, right? Because he would always buy Park Place and Boardwalk,
Sure.
and we would always land on it, and he would take all our and it was like, oh, you don't have enough money, just give me all your properties, or just give me this and just give me that, and he would take everything, right? And of course, you hand it over, you start crying, and then he'd be like, "Why are you crying?" And just flip, there goes the board.
There's no crying in baseball.
So Monopoly is one of the, but I really do enjoy Monopoly. I do, but I not.
Tracy says that's not how you play.
No, well, he could flip the board, but it was always a board flipping. And checkers. Well, I always played with my grandfather. He never let me win. Which if I won, it was skill.
Right.
And so
that's what he made you think.
But no, it was skill if I won. But no, he never let me win. No, I think we could play 10 games, and if I won one game out of the 10, he would actually be mad because I won. So it's like, no, so it was always a skill game, but the girls and I, we really like Clue. I think Clue is one of our favorite games.
I don't love it, but I play it with you.
Yeah, but it's not one of those where you have to be really over competitive with it.
Right. No, it's not. It's just, and there's some chance to Clue as well.
Yeah, and it's a skill game. Yeah. Right.
But Tracy Lynn says, I flat out left a person I drove to a party over a game of Monopoly.
I believe it. Monopoly is it's a very serious game.
Why is it Monopoly? Why is it that is the game that everybody fights over?
Because it takes forever, right? It takes forever to play. and you're so invested into it, right? And once you get invested into this game, it becomes one of those things where you just like you think you have all this time invested that you deserve to win. I think that's what it boils down to, because there are games of Monopoly that can go like 3 or 4 or 5 hours, right? And if you've been playing for 3 or 4 hours, you're gonna win. You're in your brain, no, I gotta win this shit because I've been playing this for 4 hours. I'm winning. And then someone beside you saying the same thing, and then then it's a battle.
Just going to shout out to Mike, our Filipino nomad. He just dropped in before he heads out for the weekend, but it's good to see him. Chinese checkers. Oh my God, that's a game I completely forgot about.
I don't think
it's the round game with the marbles, and it's got a star in it, and each triangle is a different color, and you jump over each other's marbles and keep them.
I don't think I've ever played it, but I do know what it is.
Okay, it was okay. We played it a lot as a kid. We had Mousetrap. Do you remember Mousetrap?
I remember Mousetrap. That was such a pain in the ass to set up.
Well, it was the type of game that took 3 hours to set up and 15 minutes to play.
Right. And I never quite understood it. Like,
yeah,
I never quite understood it. Like when you're going around the board and all of a sudden like the little mouse thing goes down it, like why? Like what set that off? Like how did you get it to do that? Like
it was
weird.
I
never quite understood that game. Ever.
And it took forever to set. It was just miserable.
It was. And if you lost a piece, you were pooped.
Rob says, I don't know this game. Onatama? Maybe it's like chess, but you draw cards and tell what moves you can make. I never played it. Interesting. So that reminds me, in grade 9, we used to play a game called Go. And it's a Chinese game. It's kind of a hybrid of chess and checkers. They're round stones. They're white and black. Okay. And you have to take territory. It was kind of like, do you remember the game, kind of similar, where you'd play it on paper and you'd try to get boxes and you'd put your initials in the boxes? Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of like that. But I mean, Go is like one of the oldest games of all time. And I should teach Charlie how to play that, because Mr. Daly introduced us to it. And this was really cool. Many years later, he came into Home Hardware and he said, I was just out at Frenchie's, and you guys wouldn't know what Frenchie's is, but it's a thrift store where they have secondhand junk. And he said, I found a board game of Go, and he brought it in and gave it to me.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a really fun game. I enjoyed that. I have never played Martinson Family's Axes and Allies.
Isn't that kind of like Risk?
It's like Risk, but it takes way longer. I remember in college, there was a group of 5 or 6 people that played a game of Axis and Allies in the cafeteria, and it went for like 3 days.
Oh my goodness. See, I would flip the board. Done.
Yeah, that was the end of it, right? Tracy says Mastermind. I vaguely remember that, but way longer. Yeah. Tracy Lynn says just need a grid and a dungeon master. I would love to play Dungeons and Dragons. Never played it. Somehow I knew Jeff would play Go as well.
Isn't Dungeons Dragons? That's one of those games that takes like days.
Well, it can take forever. Yeah. I know people that played the same game for years. They would every Saturday night they would meet above me.
Oh yes,
on the third floor of my apartment, and they would play. And they still play. Mark has since passed away, but Tim and Jurgen and anyway, there was 4 of them. Daryl was the other guy. So those 3 still get together every Saturday and play. They've done it since they were in high school.
Yes,
and now
I wouldn't know the first clue.
I would love to play it. Mike Leonidas, he has played it over the years too, and he loves it. But I never had anybody to play with, and it's a big, it's a time-consuming game too, right? So it's as much a social thing as it is anything else. Tracy Lynn says her first campaign was over a year. Oh, so yeah. So and it's cool. Yeah, I don't know all the ins and the outs of it.
Well, I used to have friends in high school that played Warhammer. That's kind of similar, right?
I don't know. I don't think it's quite the same.
No, like they would go down to.
Wow, that's awesome. Sorry, finish your story.
No, like they would go down to the comic book store.
Yeah,
and it would be a whole.
You'd walk in,
and it'd be like a whole center thing, and they had all these little metal pieces that they would paint up, and it was like Warhammer, and it was kind of like they would like. They hours.
You would walk in as the only girl and be like, "Yeah, look, there's a girl there."
Yeah, right.
And the air was thick with body odor.
I would go in and watch them play, and I didn't have a sweet clue how they were playing it. But my one friend, he was playing it probably for all of grade 11 and 12. He would go down there every Saturday and Sunday, and he would stay there for 8 hours playing this Warhammer game. So I don't know. It kind of sounds similar.
So this is incredible. Backwoods Butcher said, my wife's grandfather tried to teach me how to play 45s when we visited Nova Scotia. 45s is definitely a Nova Scotian game. It is so complicated that every time I go to play it, I have forgotten the rules and Dad has to remind them to me. If I remember, 5s are the highest numbered card anyway, it's really interesting because you have to get 15 for 2, 15. No, that's crib I'm thinking of. But anyway, Dad and I used to play 45s all the time. And I can't even remember. I'll have to explain it to you guys some night, but it's an awesome game.
So tell Alice there's an anime centered around Go.
An anime centered around Go. So
she might like that.
Yeah, she might play Go with me. Thank you, Jeff. Remember that if we can.
Yeah. Where would we find that? Like at a board game store in the mall, or
I'll Google it. I'm sure we can find it. But Backwoods says it was a lot to take in, not sober. 45s is the most complicated card game you'll ever play, but it is one that we would play as a family for hours. Dad and I, we'd get together with family and we'd either play crib, 45s, or dominoes. And Tracy said,
was that for Warhammer?
Warhammer, I think so.
Because my friend had them and they were so little and they were so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And he would buy like the lid, a little tiny paintbrush, and it was all like oil paint. And when they had the soldiers, they had to be painted all the same color. And it was very intricate.
You know, like Jonathan that I work for, he actually has a side hustle business that he paints Warhammer figurines for other people.
Oh, there you go.
He airbrushes them and everything. And I asked him, do you make money? He goes, no, but it basically pays for my hobby. So I'm like, hey, you know,
they're very intricate. Like they're very detailed and they're freaking expensive. And they're like just like this little big. Yeah, no.
It was never mine. I always wanted to try to play Dungeons and Dragons, but
isn't that the same type of thing though?
Dungeons and Dragons is literally a piece of paper and a pen.
Oh,
So and Tracy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the dungeon master figures out the quest and then you just roll dice. All you have is a bunch of dice.
Oh, that's what they play on Stranger Things.
Yeah. Okay. With like 20-sided die and 15, or whatever. Okay. And I would love to try it sometime. Maybe.
Yeah, Warhammer's way different. Like they go in there with bags and they stand there and they set them all up and they move them throughout the terrain and it's very strange. I don't know how they move them. Like I don't know if they roll dice or cards. I never.
They might summon demons. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Not exactly. I don't know too much about it.
Remember the Satanic Panic from the 80s when they hated Dungeons and Dragons because they thought everybody was going to go to hell? That was a good one. But I did play Magic the Gathering for a while. Do you remember Magic cards?
Yes.
Yeah, they were just okay. But
I used to play Crazy Eights.
Yes, Crazy Eights was simple. Yeah. Tracy says we do paint figures to represent ourselves on a grid map of dungeons sometimes if you play in person. That makes sense. Yeah. But it's basically, I don't know much about it, but Alex Byrne used to play it quite a bit, a good buddy of mine from high school. But I don't know. It would be fun. I always thought it just seems like a good excuse to sit around, drink some beer. And
it'd be a good excuse just to hang out with your buddies.
Yeah, it would.
Right. Like, and if that's what you like to do, then that's what you like to do.
Maybe if I ever if we ever have a workshop meetup on the East Coast, maybe I'll get Leo's to host a game of Dungeons and Dragons for us. Oh Lord. That would be hilarious. He would be all over. The problem is though,
he'd probably spend most of the time trying to teach us how to play it.
Oh yeah.
Because I wouldn't have a sweet clue.
He is a patient man. He absolutely
but
would. I
wouldn't have a sweet clue. And I don't download that stuff easy enough.
That's cute. Jeff says the anime is called Hiroku no Go. It's older, maybe early 2000s. Or Hiraku. No, Hikaru? Hikaru? I don't know. Alice would be like, Dad, you're saying it wrong.
You idiot.
Yeah. You so friggin' English?
You're so stupid.
Oh, yeah. Well, what do you think, Mrs. Cook? We've been 2 hours. We survived a power outage and our dogs sound like they're trying to kill a small child upstairs.
I think it's probably because the neighbors are walking by with their dogs. They don't like that husky.
Yeah, well, they make fun of him. They say he's fat every time he goes by. I don't understand it. And Tracy says she listens to a lot of D&D podcasts. It's a good way to learn, and they're really funny. Well, that's cool. Does Rob play? Because if he plays, maybe the four of us could play a game sometime. That'd be fun. I've never tried it. I always wanted to try it one time, but Yes, I do believe. I actually think Maisie has the small kid by the neck. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. We had a lot of fun. I'll have to edit the dead air out of the audio, but hell, it was great. So tomorrow night, no show. Sunday night, I got Joel Riles from Fortress K9 coming on. It's going to be great. Oh, it's good. I've been at him for a while, and I had an opening. I'm like, Joel, come by, you know. Oh, one other cool thing, and you guys might joke about this a little bit, but James Wesley Rawls got back to me today. We're going to do a pre-recorded episode. He does audio only, pre-recorded. We're going to talk about some of the early days of the internet forums and that sort of thing for prepping and preparedness survival. So if you have any questions for the dude who wrote my favorite book, no. Anyway, he's a good dude, but he's not my favorite book. Anyway, so if you have questions for him, get them into me, and I'll make sure I ask all of them for you. So it's pretty exciting. I got a couple other guests percolating in the background, but that's the one that I can announce. So with that, guys, yeah, Mitch says he wants to hear about Patriots. Yeah, so send me all the questions. The interview is going to be on August 1st in the afternoon. So whatever you have, I will ask it, and it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. I reached out to him. He got back to me in like 3 hours. It was awesome. So anyway, with that, guys, as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.